All right, we'll give it a few seconds to let everyone get in. Good evening, everyone. The number is going up. I just want to introduce myself quickly. My name is Morgan Nelson. I work in the Alumni Relations Office at Lehigh. Currently working closely with our Arts Alliance and all of the wonderful volunteers that really started this alliance, and we work closely with the Lehigh University Art Gallery, as well as a lot of the other departments in the College of Arts and Sciences. So tonight we're excited because this is our inaugural event, our first event to kick off for the Arts Alliance. And obviously we're hoping and super excited to get back in person and see everyone in the museums and in LUAG. So right now I'm going to turn it over to one of our Arts Alliance volunteers, Alexandra Grant, and she is going to kick it off and go into introductions then.
Thank you so much, Morgan. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alexandra Grant. I'm from the class of 2011. It's my great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Lehigh Arts Alliance, a Lehigh alumni group dedicated to connecting alumni who work in or who are passionate about all the arts, including visual art, theater, dance, music, design, and architecture. Through the Arts Alliance, alumni have the ability to connect and engage with others who are passionate about supporting each other's cultural initiatives and fostering engagement with the Lehigh community. It wasn't too long ago that I was sitting in a gallery classroom with the gallery's former director, Ricardo Vieira, helping put together a spring exhibition on women photographers. To be given the opportunity to work on a show as a student really encouraged my confidence and inspired me to seek more experiences in the visual arts, both professionally and as a patron. While the collection and multiple gallery spaces on campus are truly impressive, the team that makes it all possible is even more so. Tonight, I'm happy to introduce Dr. William Crow, Director of Lehigh University Art Galleries, who will teach you some new things you may not know about the gallery. Mark Winsidler, Curator of Exhibitions and Collections, who will give us a behind-the-scenes look at the gallery, and Stacy Brennan, Curator of Education, who will discuss upcoming programming and events. Our discussion will be followed by a brief Q&A session, so feel free to drop your questions in the chat. The Lehigh Arts Alliance will continue to produce different events based around the arts, and we hope that you will join us and connect with other alumni on Lehigh Connects. We'll put a link in the chat, and feel free to reach out directly to me or Morgan if you have any questions. Thank you again for being here, and enjoy tonight's event.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Alexandra, for that wonderful introduction. And we're really excited about the Lehigh Professional Arts Alliance, which is rapidly growing, which is really wonderful. Again, I'm William Crow. I am the director of the Lehigh University Art Galleries and professor of practice in the Department of Art, Architecture, and Design. I believe my colleague, Stacy Brennan, will bring up some slides for us to share. And we are really delighted to give you this behind the scenes evening with LUAG, as we call the Lehigh University Art Galleries. And we'll be showing some slides rather than walking through the physical spaces. It's a little bit more stable Wi-Fi, and I think you can see the images a little bit better this way. But I thought at the risk of maybe channeling my inner David Letterman, I thought I would say top 10 things that you may not know about LUAG. I'm still relatively new at Lehigh. I've been here about 2.5 years. And there's a number of things I've been learning about the art galleries and about Lehigh that I'm just fascinated by. And I hope that you'll be interested in these things as well. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is that the arts and the act of making are really in Lehigh's DNA. And this may not surprise you at all, many of you being alumni, but Asa Packer, as we see here on the left, was trained as a carpenter and made canal boats. And Lehigh's first president, Henry Capet, on the right, instituted a curriculum that included drawing and painting and was a firm believer in this idea of close observation and putting something new out in the world that wasn't there before. So as you can imagine, it's a wonderful place to be the director of an art museum. And I think that this feeling of making and creating permeates everything at Lehigh, no matter what your major is. The second thing that you may not know is that we are almost 100 years old at the art galleries, formed in 1926 And in various locations around campus, as you see here in these photographs, this is the Bayer Galleria that's in Linderman Library. The art galleries were formed first as a small collection of art, but has grown over the years, as you'll see, into a really magnificent academic art museum. The third thing I'll mention that a lot of people are surprised by, in the 1930s and 40s, Lehigh borrowed works of art from the Metropolitan Museum of Art and other notable civic museums and brought those works of art to campus to exhibit them. And this was really in the pre-war moment of not only seeing works of art as things to be enjoyed and pleasurable experiences, but really a part of democratizing education and culture. And so Lehigh really had a key role in that moment of the 1930s and 40s. Something else you may not know is that today we have over 17,000 works of art from diverse time periods and cultures in the permanent collection at Lehigh. As I'll introduce my colleague Mark Wansedler in just a moment, who's pictured in this photo, you'll see that he is surrounded by magnificent works from Marsden Hartley that you see just to the left of him, to George Bellows above him, to the far right, which is slightly cut off, is Jacob Lawrence. And so these works of art are fantastic resources for teaching and learning and research. Something else that you may not know is that we have 56 outdoor sculptures on Lehigh's 3 campuses. 56. So everywhere you go, you are surrounded by great art on Lehigh's beautiful campuses. And while many universities have public art or outdoor sculpture, I think one would be hard pressed to find that much outdoor sculpture so beautifully integrated around campus. We see George Siegel's sculpture of Woman on a Bench here, and we have incredible modernist pieces from the mid-1950s to 60s, donated by Philip and Muriel Berman and their daughter, Nancy. So just a wonderful collection of outdoor sculpture. We now have 7 gallery spaces and typically over 600 works of art that are on view in academic buildings at any given time. And while that's usually only about between 3 and 4% of the total collection, you can see great works of art anywhere you go. And that is precisely our aim, to be a network of gallery spaces that everyone enjoys so that great works of art are front of mind for all Lehigh students, faculty, and staff. Number 7 is that you can access much of our collection from home, and maybe this is a very timely one to mention. We're approaching 3,000 works of art online. So when you go to our website, LUAG.org, you can just go to Art Collection, and you'll see a link there that will take you to Art Store, a platform that we use to showcase the collection. And we're hoping over the next several years, we'll have all 17,000 works of art online. Number 8 is that we are bursting at the seams, not only with works of art, but with visitors. We have a fantastic, dedicated, and very hardworking team. And really, as a credit to their hard work and efforts, our attendance has grown by 86% since 2018. And that's really an unheard of number in the museum field. So we're just delighted to see this amount of enthusiasm for the art galleries at Lehigh. Number 9 is that Lehigh students are really at the center of everything that we do. And my colleague, Stacy Brennan, Curator of Education, will be talking a little bit about that. You see an image here of members of our Student Advisory Committee, which actually just met last night, who plan programs and initiatives and contests, and really not only drive what we do at the art galleries, but really help us learn what is relevant and important to the next generation of museum leaders. And last, in addition to joining the Lehigh Professional Arts Alliance, as Alexandra mentioned, you can actually become a member of LUAG. Starting on July 1st, we have a new membership program. And while, of course, we will remain free and open to the public for everyone, we hope that you'll consider joining us so that you can be a part of other behind the scenes events, special receptions, and other types of programs. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to my colleague, Mark Wansedler, our curator of collections and exhibitions, who's going to take you behind the scenes into his thinking and his planning for what's next at LUAG. So thank you everyone for joining us, and take it away, Mark.
Thanks, Will. Thanks everyone for sharing part of your evening with us to go behind the scenes as we explore what's coming up in the fall for Lehigh University Art Galleries. Of course, behind the scenes during a pandemic looks a little different than it might in other settings. If you could have the next slide, I'll show you a glimpse of our exhibition planning, a lot of which is happening on Photoshop right now, where we are assembling scaled models of our exhibition walls and to scale versions of the works in the collection as we try to figure out what exactly is and how to fit the works as they arrange themselves in our minds into the actual physical galleries on campus. Next slide. Here you can see a couple of our walls laid out for an exhibition that we're planning in the Rausch Business Center Gallery that I'll talk a little bit about in a moment. I'm going to do a kind of a simultaneous preview, and I'll try to do a quick but deep dive into each of these exhibitions through maybe one or two objects so that you can get a sense of what's coming up at LUAG. So first up, we have the exhibition Gloria Naylor, Other Places, Revealing a Writer's Archive. This is a great project that we're doing in collaboration with Sacred Heart University in Connecticut, where Gloria Naylor, the author, most known as a novelist, but also an essayist and teacher and screenwriter, her archive, after her death in 2016, went to reside at Sacred Heart. And Lehigh is engaged in this great multidisciplinary project, digitizing and expanding particularly digital access and interpretation of Gloria Naylor's incredible archive. And you're seeing here a few of the great things that will be featured in the exhibition. There are handwritten manuscripts, as well as her research material around music that she was listening to as inspiration for her work, and lots of different examples of what it looks like for a writer to be in process at any given moment. I love this example on the left of the dot matrix printer with the with the advanced tabs on the side that were, certainly a feature of my early printing life. So that has become a piece of history that we can all celebrate. But I hope that you will explore that. That's going to be at McGinnis Hall in the fall. All three of these exhibitions that we'll be looking at are for the fall. Next slide, please. So it was great to hear Alexandra talk about the Women Photographers exhibition that she worked on as a student. I'm holding the catalog right here in my hand right now. That was an exhibition done 10 years ago at the occasion of the 40th anniversary of undergraduate women at Lehigh. And of course, now we're entering into the celebration of the 50th anniversary of undergraduate women at Lehigh. And hopefully as a fitting echo of that great exhibition that Ricardo Vieira put together for the 40th anniversary, we're taking a look at our collecting of women photographers in the last 10 years and highlighting a series of individual women photographers whose presence has grown in the collection during that time. And you can see some of their names on the slide that's currently up. I'm going to do a little bit of just a deep dive into one of them, the photographer Joyce Tennyson, an American photographer who this is like an exhibition inside of the exhibition. The overall series is called Hear Me Roar, which is a phrase that will resonate with fans of both, Helen Reddy and Katy Perry. So we're very excited to be celebrating the voices of individual women photographers. Joyce Tennyson, we're really lucky to have this series of photographs called Wise Women, which is a series that Tennyson made around the year 2000, photographing both famous and women that she just met in the course of her daily life. On the left, we see Coretta Scott King at the age of 74, kind of glowing and radiating. And on the right, a woman named Krista Gottlieb, who the photographer met at a wedding and decided was a wonderful subject. Krista Gottlieb, in conversation with Joyce Tennyson, said, "You can photograph me, but you have to show my mastectomy." So the series is really about celebrating the fullness and vitality of women from the ages of 65 and up to about 93 or more. She photographed 300 women around this time. It took her months to get an appointment with Coretta Scott King, she said. Can we have the next slide? Here again, we see for her, the famous and kind of the local in her life. On the right is Jane Goodall at the age of 67, the anthropologist, a primatologist, and world expert on chimpanzees, doing what I think is both listening to the apes, but also kind of an incredible set of like monkey ears in some strange way. And then on the left is a woman named Lola Santos and her granddaughter, whom Joyce Tennyson met in the elevator of her building and was, of course, just enraptured with their energy and vitality. Next slide. Again, on the left, we see the actress Jessica Tandy at the age of 84. Shortly after recovering from chemotherapy, she said that she was shocked that Tennyson wanted to photograph her as her hair was just beginning to grow in. But that's exactly the kind of spirit that Tennyson was after in these photographs. And on the right, a woman named Elva Azara, who is 93 in this photograph, who was, in this moment, she confessed, remembering what it felt like to be fully in love. So just a wonderful series, and part of this larger spotlight on women photographers called Hear Me Roar that will span many of our campus galleries. So check back on our website for more details, LUAG.org. Next slide, please. So in the main gallery at Zollner Arts Center, and we hope everywhere in the Lehigh Valley in fall of 2021, we are turning our focus to the practice of drawing through an exhibition called Thinking Through Drawing, Works on Paper, Drawings and Sketchbooks from the Collection and the Community. And I thought, what better way to show the excitement of what this exhibition is about than to do a kind of focus on just one of the many, many objects that will be in this exhibition. This is a sketchbook by the painter and printmaker Maurice Prendergast that we are lucky to have in the collection, thanks to the generosity of J. Douglas Breen from the class of '68, a gift to the university collection in honor of the 50th reunion of his class. And we're just so thankful to have this incredible jewel of an object that we can use to highlight practices of sketchbook keeping and drawing. And it's really a kind of linchpin of this exhibition that we're putting together. And if we go, yes, to the next slide, beautiful. So we're gonna just look at a few pages from the sketchbook. You're getting a real like insider view at this sketchbook, because can we just go back for 1 second to the first slide? I just wanna I just want to highlight this list of items on this opening page, right? We're inside the artist's mind and daily life. And on the laundry list of things on this opening page are 2 items that include underwear and glasses, along with oil painting supplies. So this was just really Maurice Prendergast's daily companion in so many ways, as he painted and sketched on the North Shore of Massachusetts throughout any number of small towns. Okay, now we can advance and just sort of see the wonder of this sketchbook. This is Prendergast made something like 89 sketchbooks over the course of his life. And this was the last one to find its way into a museum collection of all of them. So it has really been hidden away in private life for a long time. And it's one of the reasons that the watercolors in the sketches are so vibrant and vital, is that they haven't seen a whole lot of sunlight. So we're going to be turning it out to the public for the first time in a long time. It is, you see him just making sketches of kind of daily life in these little villages that he was visiting. This is a sketchbook from the early 1920s, right before Prendergast passed. So this is him at the kind of height of his powers as, like the fully formed artist. Prendergast was part of an American art movement that's often known as the Ashcan School, or the Eight. It was 8 artists who were kind of loosely connected through some exhibitions that they did together. And the Ashcan School was sort of named for its kind of like the kind of dirtiness of its palette, but also the like sort of gritty view of reality that it advocated. But Prendergast was kind of an outlier in that group, because you can see from these sketches, as you'll see on some of the other pages of the sketchbook, that they're just glowing with these beautiful, bright colors. And that I think is certainly true throughout his paintings. Let's see, what else can I tell you about Maurice Prendergast? He was a figure who, as part of the 8, they included people like Arthur B. Davies, who was the organizer of the Armory Show, which was the show that kind of brought European modernism to New York City in 1913. And he, he was part of that show along with all of the, I think, members of the 8. And in it, you can see the European influence in Prendergast's work, right? He was someone. Oh, I love this page, because he was just testing. He was just testing his colored pencils and his crayon. So you get an insight into, well, how am I going to put this together? It's really so exciting. The directness of drawing. And here is a page where these just seem to be notes about a doctor's appointment. So we're just getting a slice of life. But as I was saying, Prendergast is somebody who studied in Paris in the 1890s and encountered figures like Walter Sickert and Aubrey Beardsley, and everyone was, at this stage, a huge fan of James McNeill Whistler. He also encountered, and you can really see it in these brightly colored ones, figures like Edouard Vuillard and Pierre Bonnard, who were, I think, really kind of downloaded their incredible color sense into him. So I hope that you'll have a chance to join us in the fall for Thinking Through Drawing, where you'll be able to see this incredible sketchbook live and in person. And and also the Breens were wonderful in also supplying us with facsimile of the sketchbook, which is where we got all of these incredible reproductions, so that people will have the opportunity to leaf through a facsimile of the sketchbook as part of their experience. So come and think through drawing with us. We hope you can make it.
Well, I'll take it from here. Thank you, Mark, for leading us through that amazing and inspiring sketchbook. My name's Stacy Brennan, and I'm the curator of education at the galleries. I'm also an alum, and I've had the great fortune of returning to the galleries. I guess it's been about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half since I joined as the curator of education, to take the amazing exhibitions that Mark and his team put together and that William leads for the galleries, and develop programs that serve both the campus and the community. As William said, the students are really at the heart and center of all of the programming that we lead. We have lots of opportunities for students to get involved, not only through classes and partnerships with faculty, but through a museum studies minor. We have internships and work study opportunities. We have about 15 students that are working in the galleries right now. We have students working on special projects, which I'll mention in a few. Gallery educators, so leading tours when we can be in person. Again, we are so excited to have students leading these tours in our galleries. And then we have our LUAG Student Advisory Committee, which helps to really design and lead programs within the gallery. So this year has been interesting. We went from in-person curating experience prior to the pandemic, where students worked with Mark and his team and myself and William to curate the current exhibition, Doing Democracy. They selected photos, they selected themes that resonated with them, and then they helped kind of lead tours within the galleries. We have amazing opportunities where art, architecture, and design faculty are bringing students into the gallery to select master painters or master artists to inspire their own works. And then we have had the great opportunity to have students create and curate and produce their own videos and audio description tours. We were able to extend the Doing Democracy exhibition onto the South Bethlehem Greenway for a community exhibition where you can see 22 reproductions of works from the collection, and you can use your phone to listen to an audio guide and hear student voices and kind of their perspective on those photos. We're excited to extend this exhibition into the fall, where we will host Thinking Through Drawing. And we are also going to launch a call for submissions. So we hope that you will all consider submitting your own works inspired by works in the exhibition, which will be possibly reproduced on the Greenway or included in a digital exhibition at the galleries. We also have been working really hard to extend partnerships both in the campus and community. We work with a lot of student groups across campus, including diversity peer educators. Tomorrow we are hosting an art and dialogue with the New Ventures Club on creativity and entrepreneurship. So we hope you can join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. We've been working with Artists for Change for different art challenges. So really trying to feature artists on campus and have students look to the collection for inspiration and also research. We have the wonderful opportunity to host an exhibition of the art, architecture, and design senior thesis presentations and culminations of their long, hard work, which is going to be featured during graduation. So if you're going to be around graduation weekend, we hope you will check that out, as well as join us for these LUAG at Lunch presentations, where students really talk about works from the collection and how it inspires them. But with the pandemic, we really focused on ways that we could engage various audiences. All of these programs that you see here are a series that are offered throughout the year that bring together both the campus and the community. And we have their virtual presentations, and we'll resume in person, hopefully in the fall. But we have recordings of all of them on our website, and they are a great resource if you're interested in learning more at luag.org. Here are just some pictures of kind of the community coming together right before the pandemic, and then kind of our launch into the virtual world with our most recent Rebellion in America with Professor Anthony DiMaggio. We have family workshops, which have been a ton of fun, offering these virtually and having kits for the community to pick up in the gallery and then create their own inspirational works at home. We will be resuming K through 12 programs with schools, and this summer, we're really excited to bring students back into the galleries. And again, the students on campus help us design these programs and also help us to lead them, which is really wonderful. We're super excited about one of our newest programs, which is called Taste of Art, where you can see here we have a kit that people can pick up at a local restaurant or in the gallery, and can participate in a virtual workshop or watch the recording at a later time to see overview of art history of works from the collection and how they connect with local South Bethlehem restaurants and different culinary explorations. We've been partnering with Maite Gomez-Rejon, who is an art history and culinary expert. So we have people participating from California all the way to the East Coast. It's been a lot of fun. So I hope you'll join us for these. As the pandemic has approached us, we have all been thinking about mindfulness and wellness. We have an amazing exhibition up currently where you can view works on our website called Well, 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 picturing wellness in the LUAG collection. And so we've launched tons of mindfulness resources and exercises where students and the campus and community can participate in utilizing works of art for close looking, slow looking, just being mindful and intentional about the way that we approach works of art. All of these are available on our website. We have a LUAG at home section with lots of different things. You can print out coloring pages, things like that for your family. So please, as we mentioned, don't hesitate visiting our website for lots of inspirational opportunities. And we have a ton of really exciting events coming up. We are going to go through the summer and into the next year. We're excited to launch a membership program, which will offer exclusive opportunities, and William will talk a little bit about that. But we'd love to hear from you. If there are things that you would like to see, please consider us a resource and reach out to us at any time. We would love to connect with all of you. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm going to turn it back over to William to take it from here.
Thanks so much, Stacy and Mark, for that great overview of our work. So as you can tell, we've really just kind of hit the tip of the iceberg with all of the things happening at Lehigh University Art Galleries. We'd love to see you in person. If you are in Bethlehem or the Bethlehem area, we have modified temporary COVID hours at the moment, Tuesdays through Fridays, 11 to 5. But we are hoping to return to our extended hours Tuesdays through Saturdays, certainly as our world heals a little bit more and as we open into the fall semester. So with that, we're so grateful that you've carved out some time to join us on Zoom. I know everyone has been spending a lot of screen time on Zoom, and we're very grateful that you've chosen to spend some time with us today. So I believe with that, we can turn things over to have some questions, and of course, would encourage all of you to join the Lehigh Professional Arts Alliance. And you can do that through the link here on our slide or by reaching out to our colleague, Morgan Nelson, who is leading our affinity groups at Lehigh. So Morgan or Alexandra, if you have other thoughts, feel free to take the microphone.
Great. No, that was great. Thank you so much, everyone. We do have some questions. I know, William, you touched a little bit on some of the answers, but I'm just going to turn it over to the larger group so that everyone that is watching can hear. First question from Alan. It was, are any of the artworks displayed permanently or are they all rotated?
Well, I can jump in on that one, but I welcome my colleagues to join me. You know, we're a museum, and so part of our consideration is preserving works of art for the future. So as a rule of thumb, nothing ever goes anywhere permanently. Even the large, 56 outdoor sculptures have moved around campus in the time that I've been at Lehigh. It's a preservation consideration. We want to not subject them to the same conditions of sunlight and temperature and humidity day after day, so that they can, they can stay as fresh as that Prendergast sketchbook is, which has been lovingly kept out of the light for so long. So we try to rotate things as much as we can.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mark. Susan, there's actually some interest from Susan about the Romney portraits.
Yeah, it's a shame. There's so many things in the collection. We just crested the 17,000 works of art line recently. So the collection's just growing and growing. There's so many things, it's hard to feature all of them in a brief evening like this, but they are certainly real highlights of the collection.
And maybe that's something that we can possibly do in the near future.
Sure.
Definitely a great idea. Mike was saying how Taste of Art is an outstanding program. So it's super to hear that him and his spouse are enjoying that and being able to participate in programming that supports local businesses. Let me see here. So what association do you have with the Moravian College Art Galleries? Any joint activities? I personally have not yet worked closely with their art gallery. I'm not sure if any of you have.
Sure, I'll just add that we do have students and faculty from Moravian, but also from all of the LUAG, Lehigh Valley Association of Independent Colleges, all of them coming to our galleries. Of course, we're always hoping for more. So we're trying to deepen those relationships. One faculty member at Moravian, Dr. Kristen Baxter, actually has led several of our programs recently in conjunction with Shanti Project around mindfulness practices. So certainly always looking for more and deeper connections with colleagues. So would love to hear from you if you have suggestions on that front. And then I see a question here about Lehigh's photo collection. Yes. You're going to say, I am absolutely in awe of the photo collection in Lehigh's galleries. And maybe Mark, you can talk a little bit about that because it is one of the largest areas of our collection.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a highlight. We have the ability through the collection to trace both the kind of technological and ideographic history of photography from its origins, right? Where it's great, like within the sort of like larger nest of Lehigh University to think about photography as a technology, right? And as a feat of engineering in a certain way. There was a time when no one knew how to make a photograph, and all of the chemistry and circumstances that have led us to, all of us walking around with a camera in our pockets, all of that had to be invented and engineered. So one of the great things about Lehigh's photo collection is that it allows us to trace that evolution from early photographs and paper negatives and daguerreotypes and all of these early technologies, all the way through very contemporary digital photography and video and forms that are still kind of even emerging now. So it's like virtual reality and things like that. We haven't quite crossed over into that, but we're very curious about it. And of course, a large part of that is owed to Ricardo Vieira, who built the Latin American photography collection. So we're so thankful.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mark and William. Question from Sonia. Are the majority of works located in the Zolder Arts Center, or are they scattered throughout the various academic Lehigh buildings? Also, is there a way that you can, a catalog, or how can you find them?
We are everywhere, as Mark knows better than I do, but we do, I mean, we have artworks on view in our main gallery in Zollner, but also in our 7 gallery spaces. but also in various academic buildings and lobbies and offices and public spaces and teaching spaces in the libraries. So we actually have a wonderful collection specialist who does a weekly roundup, making sure that all of these works of art are being well cared for and that they're being tended to, so that they're all accounted for. And then we also have a storage facility for our art up on Mountaintop campus. And so that is really our primary storage, where we have our collections manager, registrar, Vashti Daesh, who runs a tight ship and makes sure that everything is accounted for and cataloged and documented up there.
I think another edge of that question was about how can someone explore the collection? And if you look on our website and follow the sort of collections tab, or if you go in through the Lehigh University libraries, many paths will lead you to our collection as it is featured on the platform Art Store, which is sort of the visual component of JSTOR, journal repository. We're very happy to report in this pandemic year that as we headed into the pandemic a year ago, we had about 600 works of art on that platform. And thanks to the diligence of our head preparator, Jeffrey Ludwig Dykes, we now have almost 3,000 works of art that you can search and explore on the Art Store platform. So there's a lot to check out.
Fantastic. Another question. The library has a wonderful Audubon bird paintings. Is the library separate in what they display?
Yeah, we have great colleagues in the library in what's known as Lehigh University Special Collections that overlooks the rare book collection and a lot of the the papers and historical things connected to the university. So it is a separate collection. We as LUAG evolved out of the library. You could see some of those early photographs that William was showing. Showed that the gallery's location inside of the libraries, but over the years we kind of emerged into a separate entity in two distinct collections. And those Audubon books, which are incredible, and Lehigh is so lucky to have 4 volumes of Birds of America, the giant oversized elephant folio sized ones, and those are under the auspices of the library. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Moving forward, what does your program need, and can the alumni help in some way?
Oh my goodness, wonderful question. And thank you for asking it. I mean, certainly attending programs like this is wonderful because we aim to increase our engagement. Although we have really been fortunate that we've had so much success over the past couple of years, increasing attendance, we are an ambitious team. We're a team of 7. But we really want to keep art at the center of everything that's happening at Lehigh and in the Lehigh Valley. We'd love to have opportunities to engage alumni with students who are also going to be the next generation of museum professionals and leading cultural organizations. So more and more, even though I'm still relatively new at Lehigh, we have students that are really going to transform the landscape of museums and culture. This is the season for students who are headed to graduate school or taking jobs. And I'm just amazed at what Lehigh students are embarking on as they begin their careers. Of course, I would be negligent if I didn't mention that support is always needed. I'm channeling my director role here, but we are an operation that does require a lot of support because we're 17,000 works of art. And sometimes when I tell people that we're just 7 people in the galleries, their eyes get bigger and bigger. We're a very hardworking team, but of course we do need support to care for the collection. Our education programs that Stacy leads, they do not have dedicated financial support. We're always in need of that. We're trying to grow our number of paid internship opportunities to make the galleries not only accessible for hands-on experiential learning, but also to make it a place for diversity, equity, and inclusion, to remove any barriers to participation of students and others who want to participate. So I'd love to talk with anyone about opportunities to support our work. Giving Day is also coming up. I'm channeling my colleagues here in Alumni Relations and Development, but April 27th, circle your calendars. We'd love to have your support on Giving Day.
Fantastic. Thank you, William. Another question from Susan. Do you have any specimen decorative arts pieces? Example, silver, porcelain, furniture in the collection?
You know, while the focus of the collection is not the decorative arts, we do intersect with those areas in different ways. There are some, you know, beautiful Chinese ceramics and let's see, some pre-Columbian works, as well as, let's see, what else am I thinking of? You know, and there are lots of places where, you know, various artists kind of cross over or also take influence from the decorative arts. And that's more our sort of edge rather than collecting them outright. But, you know, it's so wonderful. We wish we could do everything, but
it's interesting that you asked that question. We were just having a meeting with our friends and colleagues across town at the Kemmerer Museum of Decorative Arts, and we were just talking about how might we connect our collections in some ways. So if you are a fan of decorative arts, stay tuned on that front, because there may be some things in our future.
Susan also followed up with a question that says, that is the Baker collection of Chinese works of art?
Yes, the Baker collection and more. You know, the Baker collection is a beautiful resource within our collection, but also there are holdings in Chinese ceramics that go beyond that. So really fortunate.
Fantastic. And William, one of your responses to a question about tracking engagement and how many people are attending these programs or events, you said that the website traffic has increased by 127% on LUAG. That's awesome.
It has. I have to say, we are so fortunate to our colleagues at the university who had just redesigned and relaunched our website in November of 2019. And we had no idea how useful and how critical a resource it was going to be. And so just over the past year, we've seen our website traffic just explode about 127% over this time last year. And Stacy has now become a master of analytics too, and measuring how many people attend our online programs and watch recordings and visit our website. So we use all of those measures to measure engagement.
And I'll just add, in addition to measuring attendance and engagement, we're really trying to look at outcome-based approaches to our programming. So how participants are benefiting from participating in these programs. We are focusing a lot on our core mission objectives of well-being, critical thinking, and cultural understanding. So we do that through online surveys and also direct calls. And we're seeing that, you know, I think in one of our last surveys, 86% of people who participated said that they felt that it had enhanced their cultural understanding or our appreciation of diverse perspectives. So we're really trying to be intentional about how we are designing our programs and the results that we are getting from them.
Fantastic to hear. Thanks, Stacy. Question from Eric. Have you all reached out to the different colleges to influence their educational activities, making it nicer and more engaging to walk in the halls, etc.?
Well, you know, I'm so glad you asked that, because one of our outdoor sculptures, works of art in the collection, made its way onto the final exam on a mechanical engineering exam recently. And maybe Stacy can talk about that, but that's a great collaboration with Professor Christina Hayden in mechanical engineering is just one example, but we do work across all of the colleges.
Yeah, absolutely. We had wonderful support from the Humanities Lab, which is an interdisciplinary approach in the humanities to support course moments. So we have partnered with political science as well as materials engineering and all kinds of different English department partnerships to design these specific course moments for students. And that project with Christina Valhayden was amazing because we had students explore the giant Menashe Kadishman sculpture that's on Mountaintop campus and figure out structurally how it was built, how it needs to be maintained over time. And the results from that will be helpful for us long-term for sustaining and maintaining that sculpture. So we're really trying to think about how we can extend those partnerships and enhance student learning.
Fantastic. I think that is it for all of the questions. Would any of our panelists, Alexandra, would you like to say anything before we wrap up?
Yeah, of course. That was so great. I almost felt like I was back on Lehigh campus, and I will definitely have to make a trip very, very soon to be able to go see everything, especially these new exhibitions. They sound very exciting. So thank you on behalf of the Lehigh Arts Alliance, to our speakers and our moderator, Morgan, for tonight's event. And thank you to our alumni for continuing to support the arts at Lehigh. We hope tonight's event inspires you to learn more about the current art scene at Lehigh and to engage with your fellow alumni. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Hope to see you soon.